It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Good evening, this is The Last Word and I am Maria Shakil. Our top story is coming from Mumbai. The death of a visibly fit celebrity, Shefali Jariwala, known to follow a healthy schedule, has left many questions and stoked fears, as one wonders if workouts and a healthy diet are enough to shield us from cardiac issues in the 30s and 40s. We have a panel of dermatologists and nutritionists asking questions on what could have led to her death. That's at 9:30. We have a special interview with popular actor Sameera Reddy coming up as well. But our first story is coming from Kolkata. A brutal rape on campus that has BJP questioning the Trinamool Congress over women's safety. The accused is a TMC card holder. The question is, can Mamata Banerjee escape responsibility? This man, Monojit Mishra, the main accused in the case, had led the college unit of Trinamool Congress Chhatra Parishad, the student wing of the ruling party in West Bengal since 2017. And amidst the nationwide outrage over the rape case, the Trinamool has claimed he has no links with the party and has said that he must face the strictest punishment. According to reports, multiple complaints of harassment and molestation had been registered against this man in the past, but no action was taken. After the RG Kar Medical College rape, now another incident on campus. The question that we ask on the show tonight, why is Bengal becoming unsafe for women? But first up, a quick wrap up of all that happened today.
It's been 4 days since the heinous gang rape of a 24-year-old student on campus. The citizens are asking, what has changed since RG Kar rape and murder case last year?
We were literally shocked and we were thinking that how can this happen inside the campus, because our security breach is a very big problem. We all are the student of this college. So we were thinking that how can this happen inside it? Our parents, they are very afraid.
Crime accused Monojit Mishra, an alumnus of the same law college where he committed the act, is linked to the Trinamool Congress. But what's shocking is his long history of criminal offences. Monojit Mishra is denying that he has committed the crime. He is saying that it was consensual and it was not a case of rape. So police is essentially going to be using these 5 cases, the criminal history of Monojit Mishra, to get an extension in the police custody, because so far he has denied his involvement in this gang rape case, saying that it was completely consensual. So these 5 cases, the police will say that they had arrested previously and he has a history of molesting, theft and criminal offences, due to which they need an extension in this particular case. This has now left the Mamata Banerjee government grappling with a fresh set of challenges, with the BJP fact-finding committee along with state leaders cornering the government.
So what we need to understand is, at every level there is a governance failure. And that governance failure is that criminalization of politics has happened and their accommodation into educational institution is established.
As the opposition steps up to political pressure, the Trinamool Congress reiterating its zero tolerance on crimes against women.
They should dwell in their own past and look at the experiences which members of the opposition, in opposition to BJP, have faced when they tried to visit the BJP-ruled states where such incidents of sexual atrocities took place, be it Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Tripura, etc. We tried to reach out to Hathras, we were not allowed, we were stopped much ahead.
As the Kolkata police continues to investigate this heinous crime that took place in a law college in Kolkata, they will be producing the 3 accused in court tomorrow and looking at extending the custody for further interrogation. With GD Shankar, Sreyashi De for NDTV.
Shazia Ilmi is the spokesperson of the BJP. She joins me live. We also have Shikha Mukherjee, senior journalist, and Tausif Rahman is the spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Shikha Mukherjee, why is a woman chief minister in Mamata Banerjee not able to ensure safety and security of women on campus in Bengal?
I think that's a question that is impossible to answer for 2 reasons. One is that no chief minister, regardless of gender, should allow politics of electoral politics and the politics of domination, which is what is the model that prevails in West Bengal for now past 60 years. None of that should allow an administration to not be vigilant about who is doing what and who is being allowed to get away with it. The way in which the Trinamool has tried to distance itself from Manojit Mishra is a clear indication that they knew what was going on and they have distanced themselves from it. And, frankly speaking, there are a lot of Manojit Mishras around. They've been a part of how student politics and those who are in power handle the whole business of earlier it used to be unions, because now union elections are a farce. They don't happen. That is how it used to be controlled. That is how this whole business of domination of the electoral system from top to from
I'll ask
the
the
bottom
producer to fix
up.
your audio as well, because it's very jarring. So we'll fix that in a bit. But Shazia, come in now. Of course, the BJP unit is on campus. You tried to get details firsthand. We heard from Meenakshi Lekhi and other leaders of the party. But the larger question is that how will this entire law and order situation be fixed? It is not really in the domain of politics, but it's about safety and security of a very important, women. I mean, why are they continuously facing this kind of harassment, molestation in Bengal?
Well, it's really unfortunate that while rapes, as they happen and are part of, what goes on as crimes against womanhood, are a blot on our conscience, each individually and collectively. But what is happening in West Bengal is another story, and whatsoever. And that story is about political shielding, the whole criminalization of politics, and how these very unsavory elements have been allowed to be part of the system. So much so that the perpetrators all have a political background. Now, you look at this Mango Mishra, this man, you just see how that he's totally politically linked. Former TMC Chhatra Parishad, the president, obviously people knew his antecedents and what he was all about. This is a premeditated crime. This digital exploitation. The woman was harassed. So he had enough clout because he got away a few times. And not just that, the campus becomes again a crime scene here. And that is very, very shocking and disturbing. And not just that, there is a very insensitive response about victim shaming, victim blaming. So whether it's Sandesh Khali or Birbhum or how NHRC had to come in 2011 just because, and how about so many women raped, young girls, senior citizen, only because their families did not vote TMC, shows a complete criminalization that has taken over. And the system has become very compromised, Maria. The law and order machinery is totally compromised. And I think it's a matter of great shame because Mamata Banerjee is a home minister. So I think a lot needs to be done. This is not enough just to distance yourself from the perpetrator. The fact of the matter is that he got away with it, not once, but many times. This is happening in the campus. it's horrific to learn. So
Yes,
clearly
absolutely.
something's got to give.
Has he been shielded in the past? This is the question that we ask, because if you look at the entire history of this man, it shows clearly that he enjoyed political patronage. So a quick wrap up of who this man is, the main accused in this rape case which has happened on a campus, a law campus in Kolkata.
Political influence, power addiction, student politics, brazenness. The story of the Calcutta College rape accused is a toxic cocktail of it all. Monojit Mishra, prime accused in the rape case, wielded huge influence on the campus even after he passed out. According to Monojit's profile, he led the college unit of the Trinamool Congress Chhatra Parishad since 2017. Amid nationwide outrage over the rape case, the Trinamool has claimed he has no links with the party and must face the strictest punishment.
आज हमारे छात्र परिषद के सभापति भी इस प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में साफ खुलासा किया है कि 2022 वाली भी जो कमेटी थी उसमें ये शख्स लोग कोई भी नहीं थे। भारतीय जनता पार्टी या कांग्रेस बोली या सीपीएम, एसएफआई, ये लोग सब जो है एक राजनीतिक उद्देश्य को लेके चल रहे हैं। उनको कोई हमदर्दी नहीं है पीड़िता के संग।
But the BJP has alleged that the TMC has been shielding him.
जो गुंडा है, जो बदमाश है, जो रेपिस्ट है, उनके दिमाग में है ही नहीं डर, क्योंकि जानते हैं ममता बनर्जी उनकी पार्टी है बचाने के लिए। 3-4 लोगों को जो एक्यूज है पकड़ा गया, सारे तृणमूल से रिलेटेड है। तो तृणमूल तो मतलब खून, रेप, चोरी, इन तीनों में एक्सपर्ट है।
Called Mango by friends, Monojit has multiple complaints of harassment and molestation against him in the past, but no action was taken. The son of a priest, Monojit has been living separately from the family for 4 years. Even after passing out of his law course, the accused, who calls himself a criminal lawyer, was seen more on campus than courts. Interestingly, in 2023, a year after he passed out, Monojit joined the college as a casual clerical staff member, and his appointment letter was issued by the college administration. According to reports, he would get Rs 500 per day for his work. It is curious why a lawyer would settle for this work. The answer probably lies in an addiction to the influence and following that he enjoyed on campus.
Can you tell me something about Monojit Mishra, since he was a former student?
Yes, madam. Monojit Mishra was a former student. A few months or a year ago, when our one section was increased by the Bar Council of India, as we have very poor number of permanent staff. So GB gave me the permission. 2 more CVs were there, and among that CVs, that guy's CV was that he is LLB. That's why it was taken.
Would he misuse the Trinamool Congress party's name to assert his power within the college campus?
During the students program and everything, it has been reflected that he is something he wants to show, but madam, it is not clear to us.
According to a report in the Times of India, Monojit's pick-up line for women on campus was, "Will you marry me?" He used the same line when he first approached a 24-year-old survivor of the campus rape. Such was his terror that some students even stopped going to college due to his fear. Monojit Mishra has multiple police complaints against him. He was out of bail in these cases. Some of them include ripping off the dress of a woman student in the South Calcutta Law College in July 2019, stealing a music system, perfume, spectacles from a friend's home in December 2019, and molesting a woman in March 2022. He's also accused of beating up a college guard and damaging college property in a May 2024 case. Even after the TMC dissolved its student wing in the college in 2017, Monojit Mishra remained the Neta with a bunch of followers. NDTV Bureau Report.
So here is someone, Shikha Mukherjee, who has multiple police complaints against him. The nature of this complaint is pretty serious in nature. And he continues to get bail and is out on campus, threatens people. There are several students who have said that they refuse to go on campus because they used to fear him. That is the nature of influence that he had also. But everything was because of political patronage.
I entirely agree. This is the tragedy of how college campuses are being used to control the way in which voters are shaped or dominated into preferring one party. This is not entirely new. Different versions of this have been going on for a very long time. And political parties seem totally impervious to what these so-called student leaders do and how they do what they do.
Absolutely.
And the worst part of it is that as of today, I know after talking to teachers in colleges that they don't want to get into a hassle because then it becomes a physical threat. There is always a physical danger to these people. And so they've given up on pushing back.
But the question is that if this is the nature of fear, which is there on campuses, Shazia Ilmi, then what really is the pan-Bengal sentiment? We are looking at Kolkata, which is the capital city.
Yes, absolutely. Just see the kind of clout this man enjoyed. And overall, you do sense that there is some kind of a reign of terror and silence. There is fear. And the system is totally compromised because these perpetrators, rape enablers, offenders, rape sympathizers even have found their way in and become part of the system, which is why you try starting from Shahjahan Sheikh to Sanjay Ghosh to Monojit Mishra. They all are part, either in some capacity or the other, very much a part of the system, enjoying great clout and enjoying political shielding. And what comes later on? So I think Mamata Banerjee is losing the plot and she is not able to, she's beholden to these goons, and the whole system is giving way. And there is no scope whatsoever. And I think Bengal's daughters are not safe. And Mamata Banerjee, as a home minister, as a woman, as a chief minister, has indeed compromised her government by being there, by not being effective, by allowing this to happen again and again, because all the perpetrators have political backing. So I think that is very worrying. That's the most worrying sign of it. So everywhere, this random patronage and nexus criminality, whether it's colleges or medical colleges or campuses or panchayats or other bodies, in civil society, they have found their way. And that is, I think, the biggest scourge of West Bengal right now. How do you clean that up? One doesn't know. But yes, the predators cannot be shielded politically. I mean, it is a recurring pattern. It's a recurring pattern.
All right, Shazia Ilmi and Shika, thank you so much for joining us. Let's shift focus to our second story. There are fresh revelations in the mysterious death of actor and influencer Shefali. Multiple sources have confirmed to NDTV that Shefali's blood pressure was critically low on the day she died, raising urgent questions about her overall health in the lead up to that night. In fact, Mumbai police are now probing multiple leads. One, the possibility of self-medication. Shefali was reportedly consuming skin whitening medication, the kind which is not advised, largely without medical supervision. She was also said to be undergoing anti-aging injections. Was this part of an unregulated wellness routine? Is the question that needs to be answered by the cops. Or is there more beneath the surface? Another disturbing layer now is food poisoning. Investigators are looking at whether Shefali consumed stale food while she was fasting. Did her weakened system, already under strain, fail to cope? From beauty pills to extreme dietary practices, from injections to possibly expired food, the Shefali case is no longer just one night but a pattern. A pattern of silent pressures, image, influence, and perhaps choices which have been made in isolation. Remember, the investigation into this sudden death is peeling back layers, not just of what happened that night, but of the life that Shefali Jariwala was living. Sources have now confirmed to NDTV that Shefali had been undergoing specialized anti-aging treatment for the past 5 to 6 years. This wasn't a one-time procedure, it was a sustained therapy, part of her lifestyle. Her regimen, in fact, reportedly included high dosage of vitamin C and glutathione. These are substances which are often used in wellness circles for skin lightening, detox, and so-called youth-enhancing effects. These were not casual supplements, but part of a structured treatment program. Doctors, however, have clarified to investigators that these treatments do not have a direct impact on the heart. But in a case like this, where multiple factors could be at play, nothing is being ruled out yet. What was Shefali trying to change or preserve through years of therapy? And more importantly, did this pursuit of perfection come at a price? These are some of the most uncomfortable questions which are emerging as this story shifts from mystery to a mirror on modern pressures. We have Samira Reddy, actor-influencer, joining us on the show tonight. Samira, thank you for speaking to NDTV. It's a heartbreaking tragedy, sudden cardiac arrest, lots of questions being raised about medicines, anti-aging products. But as an actor yourself, do you feel the pressure to stay, in that particular age bracket or appear in a particular way, if I may ask you?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that I am relieved about is the fact that today I can be myself. I thank social media for that, and I thank people for that, because I presented myself as is. I have never done any of these things, and I always say that I don't judge anybody who has. But maybe if I was in the thick of acting today, I would have definitely succumbed under pressure and having to have kept up with all the trends, because it's everywhere. It's being, young teenage girls are exposed and said, let's start Botox as early as, your early 20s and late teens. The trends around us are so pressurizing today. I fear for my daughter. My daughter's 6 years old, and I think by the time her time comes, what's going to happen? So definitely a cause of concern, and somewhere the trend, but I cannot comment as to whether these products or these procedures are what cause an issue. For me, what's alarming is there is a need for better research and data to be shown to us, because all of us are just guessing right now, and it's making us extremely nervous. So we need better research and data so that, as a country, as parents, as youngsters, as Gen Zs, as millennials, we know what to do going forward. We cannot live in this thing that this causes this or that causes that. We need answers.
Yes, and we have been speaking to dermatologists and nutritionists as well, Samira. In fact, later on the show, I'll be playing that conversation out for our viewers. They all are talking about, pressure aside, the overall wellness industry. It's mushrooming. The fact is that there are quacks pretending to be doctors who have opened these clinics because of how people seem to be obsessed with looking in a particular way. Does it also have to do with the standards of beauty that we associate with, that it has to be a particular skin tone, and that gives a lot of burden on an individual, puts a burden on individuals? Do you think that there is a need for regulation of the overall beauty industry by the government, and also the fact that most of these, injections or even medicines are available on the counter, and there is absence of trained professionals as well who should be perhaps prepared to carry out these procedures in a more trained and professional manner.
So I think that, every body type is different. And I think that right now there is not the right information is not there for people to make very thoughtful decisions. So I think that there has to be a body that creates the standards to say with this comes that.
Yes.
With weight loss pills comes these issues. And I think this, how you have these disclaimers, especially in the States, I've seen with any medicines that you give, there's always a clear cut, this is what could happen to you. Again, that being said, this is not my layer of expertise. I cannot comment on this, but I would definitely say that there has to be a better system. And I always say with AI, we're using it to make reels, we're using ChatGPT to create better content, businesses are using it. Why cannot we have better AI research-backed healthcare? Because every body type is different.
That's right.
And again, one can speculate that since 2020 people are having more heart attacks. Or why is it that so many youngsters are having issues? When if you look at our last generation, it wasn't, it's very alarming that it's happening to younger kids. So again, coming back to your question of wellness, I don't think it's wellness in particular. We definitely need a body to overall create better standards for everything from weight loss to wellness to even explaining to younger kids how the fact that diabetes and even high blood pressure seems to be prevalent now in the Gen Zs and the younger generations, right? So I would really want more answers. I think as a parent of like a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, I want to know that I am better prepared as a mom, because if this is what's happening now, what is going to happen 10 years later? So I think you're right. You definitely need data-backed research to give people answers and give them a way forward, not create panic.
Certainly, because investigators have in fact found 2 boxes of medicines. We really do not know what all were these medicines that she was having. It could have been a case of self-medication. That's what reports are suggesting. There are a number of unanswered questions here.
I will tell you one thing though. I was looking at her picture today and I said, what a gorgeous, gorgeous face. What a beautiful woman. And, I don't know her, but my heart broke because I said, I cannot comment on why this happened to her. But all I know is that she's gorgeous. And this is what I'm trying to say to, today, one of the biggest reasons I feel like I've got a second lease of life with social media is because these are the beauty standards I fight for, that every person has such a beautiful thing in them. We all are different. We have different body types. We have darker skin, lighter skin. And the way people are responding to that, in the last couple of years that I've been speaking out, it's definitely a movement where people are fed up of being told to look a certain way, or the pressure that our youngsters as well as, all age groups are going through to adhere. So overall, if you ask me, this is not just one problem. It's an overall pressure system that we need to address and say this is not just at a level of medicines or a governing body. This is an overall answer that why are we seeking so much validation? And why is it that social media and an Instagram reel can drive you to go and do things to yourself? So this is my problem today. And I think it's one of the biggest reasons I speak out. It's one of the biggest reasons I can show my belly fat and my white hair and say, why are we doing this? So these are the kind of answers that at least I seek. That what is the issue in itself that we are constantly projecting in the advertisements that we're putting out, in the narrative for our youngsters, that's making them and driving them this way.
That's right. And Samira, you're talking about social media, which has led to conversations, but it has also led to unrealistic expectations from people, because there is a lot of inability to accept the reality of growing, aging. You are an actor yourself. You have spoken about your 2 children, how you're fearful. Let's rewind for our viewers. when you were an actor, when you were very active in the world of cinema. I've been your fan as well. I mean, how was that era for you?
You know, what really makes me sad, and this really, it gets me all the time. Today, I'm 46 years old. And I can tell you at 30, at 25, at 35, I really had the most beautiful skin and beautiful body. And I did not have even 1/4. Like today, I am 100 times more confident and more aware of what I bring to the table. And this is the sad part, that it took me years to come to this point. It's something that I fight for. I fight for every woman out there, for every man out there. Anybody listening to me, I constantly go at it because I'm like, stop wasting your time constantly adhering, especially to the ladies who are told you can't age. You pop a baby out and you just have to look fabulous. You just have to adhere to a certain way, because if you're not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You know, and I think that's what constantly hurts me as someone who's been in the industry, who faced the backlash, who's been told, oh, you know, 5 years ago when I entered social media, the first thing I was told is, what happened to Samira Reddy? You know, she doesn't look the same. But hello, I'm in my 40s. I'm not going to look the same. Or people give me a thing like, oh my God, you don't look in your 40s. And I'm like, but why? Because that's putting pressure on me to constantly look like this. And I'm not going to. So one of the most interesting things I leave you with is that I constantly teach both my children at the earliest ages that the one thing they need to have is their own acceptance and their own love for who they are and their bodies. It's just emotional EQ that they don't teach in schools. And maybe that's what we all need to break this pattern. So there it is, you know, here we are sad. We've lost a wonderful, wonderful person to make us again get up and ask questions. But are we asking the right questions?
Samira Reddy, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on NDTV. And viewers, earlier today I spoke to dermatologists, nutritionists to find an answer to the question that we all want to know. Was it pressure or was it pills? And do pills that, you know, it's about anti-aging pills or glutathione or such pills really actually, can it really trigger heart attack? Can they prove to be fatal? Listen in to this conversation. Hello everyone. The untimely death of actor Shefali Jariwala at just 42 years has raised several troubling questions. How could someone so vibrant and seemingly healthy succumb so suddenly? What role did the anti-aging and skin glow medications found in her room play in her demise? Was there an underlying health condition aggravated by the pressures of maintaining a youthful appearance in the entertainment industry? As we mourn her loss, we must also scrutinize the societal and professional pressures that drive individuals to potentially dangerous lengths for beauty and longevity. What can be done to prevent such tragedies in the future is the question that I ask on the show tonight. Joining me here in the studio are Dr. Kriti, who is a dermatologist. Welcome to this broadcast. Ishi Khosla is a renowned nutritionist. We have Professor Sunila Garg, public health expert. We have Dr. Dipali Bhardwaj, senior dermatologist, also joining us. We also have Manvi Taneja, model and actor on this broadcast, and Tara Deshpande, actor and writer. Ishi Khosla, let's begin with nutrition. Does nutrition get impacted when you take anti-aging medicines? Because it is being said that for skin glowing treatment and other treatment that she was undergoing, she used to take those medicines. Does body nutrition get impacted because of that?
You know, first of all, I just say it's very tragic to lose a young life like this and in these circumstances. The thing is that first you need to know what was the anti-aging treatment. Was it something new that she took? Because according to the reports that one is seeing, she has been taking them for 8-9 years. And so something as like a toxic reaction to something is unlikely because she was used to taking it. However, what seems more plausible is the fact that, I mean, I'm not a detective and I'm not trying to do that, but essentially she was fasting and she may be having some kind of an electrolyte imbalance which was got exacerbated with the treatment or the injection that she took, and maybe the fact that she was also on anti-epilepsy medicines, which could have a reaction. And so whether it was fasting and a combination of the medicine, well, we really don't know exactly what was the content, but if it's the usual glutathione or vitamin C, they're usually pretty harmless and they're supportive to health and detoxification. But how they interacted with the fasting state or her existing epilepsy medicine, or was there a lack of epilepsy medicine, I mean, she didn't take her dose, we don't know.
Yes, so but that particular thought of glutathione and other vitamin C treatment that girls usually undergo after a certain age, I mean, it's become very commonplace, Dr. Kriti. Does it actually impact health conditions when you are fasting?
Definitely it can. We cannot say for certain what has happened and what did not happen in this case, but glutathione in itself, it's very important to know the right dosage in which it is given and the frequency at which it is administered. So glutathione again is a speculation. There are also anti-aging treatments with nicotinamide, which is commonly known as and marketed as NAD plus drips. Glow drips, health drips, anti-aging drips, these are the ways it is marketed. These are known to cause electrolyte imbalance. As ma'am rightly said, in a fasting state, that electrolyte imbalance could be exaggerated. These, when not given in the right dosage.
But can they actually be fatal?
So, these medications can also lead to hypotension, which is a fall in blood pressure, or cause cardiac arrhythmias. And these cardiac arrhythmias, when there is an underlying arrhythmia, maybe it is not realized in day-to-day activities, but with this it may be exacerbated. Also, if she was or any other individual is on any other medications like hormonal medications, medications for hypertension, again this combination can prove to be fatal. Not very commonly, but rarely such cases may happen. So it is very important for a person to be aware as to what medications they are taking, and
so there are a number of drips which have come in the market.
Right, and a lot of people, because of the prevalence of social media, young generation, they just go to these wellness clinics and say, I want this treatment and I want so and so treatment, without knowing the repercussions. A lot of these places don't even have qualified dermatologists who are trained to administer such therapies. So it is very important to take a proper patient history to know what medications they are on, what lifestyle habits they are following.
So this mushrooming of wellness centers or beauty centers, Dr. Dipali, you also run one such beauty center. My question is, are they following the health protocols or the beauty protocols which are set? You know, in the sense that, are there doctors, cardiologists there when such drugs are administered?
Sure, Maria. It's a it's a very sad death, of course, we all know. But the fact is that there is no proper guidelines being followed at a national level. Most of these drips are being administered by nurse, even of course at my center in New Delhi. And when I travel to Mumbai or some place like that, I do it myself. But if the nurse is administering, it has to be in the right dosage. Taking these drips on empty stomach is what the the American school is suggesting, because the absorption is more. So one can be fasting for about 6 hours, but it has to be in that case taken in the morning. So we really don't know which drip was administered. NAD drip can yet be uncomfortable. Glutathione can actually be taken empty stomach. But the protocol of the dosage has to be according to your height and weight. Your doctor should be involved in it. They are very, very safe, provided it's not a counterfeit product. It's not a duplicate product, provided the cold chain of the product is being maintained very nicely. How we have proper standards here. We do not buy duplicate. We have fixed dealers and distributors. But I think this is a wake-up call, and the Indian government must take stern action now and ensure that these duplicate products are removed from the market. Because interestingly, Maria, I get regularly young girls who have purchased these products without knowing the distributor from websites like Alibaba and India Mart, etc. And they have purchased it at very less cost, and they forced centers like us to inject. being ethical, we always say no to them. And even some of them are ready to pay any bomb of money, but that's never lured us. But we don't know about centers where there are no doctors, where are those, beauty clinics or wellness clinics, which are not run by doctors or business people is the one behind it. We don't know if they are injecting such products, which could actually be very harmful.
Absolutely. Professor Sunila Garg, the larger question is also that why are these medicines so easily available? Because reports are suggesting that at Shefali's home, there were 2 boxes full of medicines. And whether she was taking these medicines under a doctor's supervision or she was doing it on her own, we really do not know. But the larger question is that if these medicines are available on the counter, then it certainly means that just about anybody who has some kind of underconfidence because of their beauty or lack of it, then they may just go for it.
It's a very, very important question, let me tell you. And we are, as a public health expert and as chair to Program Advisory Committee at NHFW, from the policy perspective, there are only, medicines which have to be available over the counter, like antipyretics and all that, or, the medicines for use of common drugs and all that. But when we talk of these beauty products and all, definitely, they have to be available with the prescription and under doctor's guidance. We were just listening to that madam, was talking about that when she goes, she administers herself, but otherwise the nurse administers. Now, where is the list of, is emergency tray available? What if suddenly the anaphylaxis happens after? Anaphylaxis can happen to anybody because we are not regularly testing for sensitivity. That part is very, very important. But ultimately, the important part is who is counseling our larger population. Behind one death, we will see, I think it's an iceberg phenomena. We are seeing only the tip. Behind that, there will be hundreds of girls, who would be suffering from lot of morbidities. That means they may not, die, but they will have lot of side effects. But that is where we need to focus on this platform, that awareness creation is very, very important. Indiscriminate use of hormonal treatments, indiscriminate use of anti-diabetic drugs like, when we talk of metformin and all that. So we need to be very careful exactly, or this is an era where young girls are also suffering from a lot of comorbidities also. When we talk of diabetes, hypertension, she may be on beta blockers also. So that's where we need to be cautious that one should not take the drug without proper prescription. The second part is wherever there are injectables being given, there has to be emergency tray which has got to be available for immediate revival. And social media pressures have got to be, unless we create the awareness, people are just, why not everybody will like to look like Shefali or, somebody else.
Absolutely.
That whole concept has to be brought in right from schools. We should not hesitate.
Absolutely. One has to age. Aging is as natural a phenomena as sun rising and sun setting, Manvi. Is it difficult to accept for actors that
absolutely.
they will age? Of course, we do know that that these industries have a very skewed idea of women and aging. They're not ready to accept women in their 40s or 50s, but then that's the ultimate truth of life.
So if you talk about 40s and 50s, I'll say that it starts from 20s only, because these days celebrities have so much of pressure to look good. If they don't fall under that parameters, they will not get work. And we have seen in past history also that if the actor has gained a little bit of weight, she was not offered films. If the actor is not looking good, she is not successful in that industry. So they have certain parameters which you need to fall into. One is that, yes, you need to look slim and fit. And gym trainers these days, they suggest you to take some such supplements or steroids or weight loss injections. But we have seen in past also, we lost Siddharth because of excess dose of gym supplements. And these days, as in actors, they try to take Botox, fillers. Dermatologists suggest you, if you want to look good, if you want to look fair, if you want your skin to glow every time, you need to go to certain procedures. But I think that they have some side effect. You look good that time, but yes, after 2 years, your Botox start to reducing. You need to go for that session again. But what the concern here is that it is not only limited to the film industry, it is not only limited to the celebrities. These days it's a rat race for everyone. For the common people who want to who are a little bit of do socializing, they also fall into this. And I am seeing that beauticians, they've been selling weight loss medicines, they have been selling weight loss capsules, and people they buy it. These days, social media platform, the influencers, Instagram influencers,
Yes.
they have become a biggest scam in India. Whatever they eat, people start to follow that. Whatever they wear, okay, if you wear certain dresses, people try to wear that is not harmful. But yes, weight loss pills, injections, Botox, fillers. If a person takes it, the social media influencer takes it, people start to follow.
They start following it. Yes, but Tara, with Shefali's demise, there are multiple questions that society in general is facing. I think it is time to raise those questions of the idea of beauty. And why are we not ready to accept a woman in her 50s? She is equally beautiful then, perhaps more, wiser. Why is it that everything is so skewed?
Well, for starters, you don't see wisdom on a screen. But you do see age, and you do see wrinkles, and you do see lines, and I think that's what people have a problem with. That the attention span is so low that you don't really give a person enough time unless they grab your attention immediately. And before I answer your question, let me say I'm very sorry about Shefali's death and my condolences to her family. I cannot imagine how painful this must be. We've been talking a lot about anti-aging here, but I also wanted to add that, since COVID took place,
yes,
there have been a lot of conversations about how the vaccines may have affected coronary and heart health. Right now, we should be a bit circumspect because we don't have the autopsy reports. We don't know exactly what has happened. It is something that we're finding. It's a phenomenon that more and more young people are actually having heart attacks or having heart trouble since the pandemic. So this could possibly, be another way of considering it. But yes, there is pressure to look young. Everybody wants to look young. Everybody wants to be on Instagram with thousands and millions of followers on Facebook. And it is very difficult, harder for those who are in the profession. I think the government needs to do something stringent about making sure that quacks are not in the business, and that people should remember that cheaper is not always better.
So, this point of some kind of regulation which has to come from the government side, Ishi, what can be done?
So, essentially, I would just like to take from what the previous speaker just said, and very rightly, that we are noticing bodies are not the same in youngsters. Many young, fit youngsters are have lost their life.
There is a sudden rise in those, people in their gym while working out, they are falling down, and it's a cardiac arrest.
Yes. So, and certainly post-pandemic, there are two things. One is the virus itself and the other is the vaccine. And both of these, in my own patients, I'm finding inflammation going up way beyond we ever saw before that. Even on patients who are on my diet or following a good diet, inflammatory markers are rising post any infection. Much more difficult to treat patients today as opposed to pre-pandemic. It's a very clear difference. So bodies are not the same, clearly, and what has changed is the microbiome leading to inflammation. One of the things in youngsters I find is these protein powders, and this has become a very important part of a belief system that we are all deficient in proteins. Everyone, whether it's an adult, a medical professional or a lay person, is now doing a maths on proteins and finding themselves falling short and opting for protein powders. That trend is, according to me, one of the most dangerous ones, which is hitting the youngsters. And they're taking all kinds of proteins, whether they are taking soya protein or whey protein or plant protein, it doesn't matter. These are inflammatory. And with that burden of the COVID, like I said, the pandemic, this. And one more aspect I want to put the spotlight on is magnesium deficiency. Again, a highly underdiagnosed and misunderstood aspect of our health and well-being. Because we don't have good tests to document this deficiency. Magnesium is squarely responsible for the heartbeat, the rhythmic activity of our heart, and we lose magnesium with sweat and body fluids. So you'll see a lot of these fit guys on treadmills dropping dead, or on the middle of the sports arena.
That's because of magnesium deficiency.
Can be very easily there are reports.
So what are these early signs?
Good question. Magnesium deficiency can manifest in many diverse ways. Some of them include headaches and a history of migraines. It could be just constipation. It could be calf muscle pain and water retention. It could be just in women PCOD and endometriosis, those kind of symptoms. Generally you can have cramps. Very often you have cramps. So anything which has a rhythmic aspect to our contraction in our bodies, whether it's breathing, breathlessness, or even tachycardia for that matter, of feeling, palpitation as we call it. So any of these are signs and symptoms, and that is a supplement which the youngsters and all of us...
That's a very important point that you're making, Ishi, because we talk about calcium deficiency among women, but we have not addressed that very important point of magnesium deficiency.
And anxiety, which
and
these youngsters,
the stress
and insomnia, not being able to sleep is a sign of magnesium deficiency. In just anxiety, people who are just, anxious for no rhyme or reason, and the youngsters, it's plaguing them, and they're taking anti-anxiety pills to combat that.
Okay.
I just like to add on to what ma'am said. Apart from that, we also notice that there is a tendency to take vitamins over the counter. A lot of people are taking B12, biotin, even amino acids. There are two categories of amino acids, essential and non-essential. The non-essentials one, your body makes them on their own. The gut microbiome, things like glycine, glutamine, it doesn't need to be supplemented, but because of social media and the prevalence at which these things are advertised, people are just consuming them without any knowledge. It's almost like saying they're popping pills for fun.
Yes.
But I think that's where I will like to come in. Basically, it's the empowerment with correct knowledge that is important for both boys and girls. See, when you raise the issue of protein powders, what is the quality check? That is important. And what is the ingredient? When we talk of within the protein powders, are we looking at it carefully? That part is very important. People go just by what the gym instructor is telling, that you take these protein powders, these supplements. So regulation of these is very important. You ask that what government is going to do. Government is already there, in terms of regulation, but we are 146 crores, remember, and 36 states and union territories with so many, we are almost 20% adolescent only, when 1/5 of our population. So we need to, kind of empower people and everybody through schools, through, different channels, whether we are healthcare providers, beauty people, and everybody has to come out with the message that basically, it's the lifestyle, it's the correct diet that is important, it's the correct exercise. The holistic approach is very, very important.
That holistic approach that is needed, Manvi, is perhaps missing because invariably there is stress which is being added to our daily life, and then there are these standards of beauty that girls feel that they have to live up to.
Yeah, I think everything should be balanced. For stress, I think we have doctors in the panel, they would suggest that 8 hours sleep is must. People, they do overtime just to add on a little bit of money in their pocket. They do extra hours, they work extra hours, and if everything you need to balance. If you are going to a gym, you need to do gym only for an hour or an hour and a half. But here what I see among youngsters, they do gym for 2 hours, more than 2 hours. They try to put more, sometimes they go in the morning also, and sometimes they go in the evening also. So 2 times a gym, I don't think it's the right way. And if you talk about as in whatever you eat, your nutritious, dietitians these days, they are suggesting you to do intermediate fasting. Yes, it's good, but if you you're doing gym along with intermediate fasting, I don't think it's good. Initially, they suggest you to fast for 12 hours, and then later on they start increasing your time, 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, and later stage they put you on water fasting also. Water fasting for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. So just imagine you are not eating for 21 days, and along with that you are also doing gym for 2 hours. Where your body will go? And a few months back we lost a girl. She was on water fasting since I think for a month, and we lost her.
It's scary. It's scary. I think
scary.
these intermittent fasting and only water diet, only fruit diet are also, because these are fads now. Supervision, yes.
It cannot just be, everyone just can't pick it up and do it. It's just not okay.
But there is
number
a science
one.
behind
and there
it.
is a science, and there's a place for it. And before we resort to anything, it's important to get it, from a qualified person, and whether it's exercise or your protein powders. And why are we looking at protein powders per se? Why aren't we just looking at first addressing the diet? Why can't we just increase the protein in the diet by, they have 20 grams of protein in a portion of a scoop of protein powder. Just have 3 eggs more than
and increase your natural protein rather than having protein powders.
We just kind of succumb to the pressures.
I have just enough time for Dr. Dipali and Tara. Dr. Dipali, go ahead, make your comments, and then the last word to Tara Deshpande.
Well, I think anti-aging is something like it needs a multi-pronged approach, and you have to have a good lifestyle, you have to think well, you have to eat well, you have to follow a hobby, and have a good skin routine. You cannot just do one thing. And whoever is your dermatologist, you must discuss everything in detail so you can tell him or her what supplements you're on, what you would like to, because the Instagram generation is actually doing a lot from Instagram, and sometimes they hide. So that's not the right approach. And I would definitely, Maria, still say that the government must take actions on these counterfeit products so that, we as a nation grow in a better direction.
We are more informed is the big point that is being made here. Tara?
Right now the system has become particularly predatory. There is a trend right now on Instagram where people are running these health scare ads, where they scare you that, oh no, you could have a heart attack, or you could have poor joints, or this could happen to you, or that could happen to you. But here, take these vitamin supplements, or take this tonic, or take this elixir of youth, and it will really change everything for you. And people get so worked up because, stress and anxiety can also make you a little bit paranoid about your own health, and you start thinking that there's everything wrong with you, and you go out and buy these ridiculous products. The other thing that I personally take a lot of issue to is the term anti-aging. See, we're going to age whether we like it or not. But if the focus, rather than how many wrinkles does a woman have, or, how young does her skin look, instead of the focus being that, why can't the focus be having a better joint health, having better muscle health, your heart functioning better, your brain functioning better? In the end, those things give you a better old age than like how your face looks.
Absolutely. I would request all the guests who joined us on this broadcast, so thank you so much for joining us. There are a lot of questions that have been raised, and we have tried to find answers to that, but certainly the question really is that there is a young life which has been lost, and she could have been anyone. If you look at it, Shefali, of course, was an actor. It can be anyone, and that is the scary part, that vibrant people, healthy people who appear to be healthy are succumbing to these pressures of society, of staying young, which is almost impossible. Thanks so much for watching.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit. If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24/7.
बदलाव की इच्छा रखने वाले लोग, उनको ये तय करना है कि वो जनसुराज जैसे नए विकल्प को चुनते हैं कि फिर पिटे पिटाए अपनी पुरानी व्यवस्था में जाना चाहते हैं।
तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, हमारी पूरी सपोर्ट है उनको। हम किंग मेकर की भूमिका में रहना चाहते हैं।
कि लोग घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पाते थे।
आपने इनको 20 साल से हमको केवल 20 महीना दे दीजिए, बस केवल 20 महीना।
जंगल राज लाने वाले मौका देख रहे हैं, अपने पुराने कारनामे करने का मौका ढूंढ रहे हैं।
Is your business?
Good evening, welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program tonight, a world exclusive new high-resolution satellite imagery with NDTV shows for the first time the impact of Indian precision strikes against two major terrorist training camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir during Operation Sindoor last month. We'll be bringing you these images in a great deal of detail. While the armed forces have not identified the weapons used in the attack, it's believed that both were targeted with loitering drones. The images are of two camps, the Sayyidina Bilal camp in Muzaffarabad, that's about 36 kilometers west of Tangdar in Kashmir, and the Kotli Gulpur camp, about 40 kilometers west of Rajouri. Both were struck in the early hours of the 7th of May, when India targeted multiple terrorist infrastructure sites in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The significance of these pictures, absolutely huge, being revealed for the first time. We'll have those up full screen and you'll see what I'm talking about. Next up on the program, the investigation into the tragic Air India flight AI-171 crash in Ahmedabad, which resulted in the death of 270-odd people, has sparked several theories. Experts suggest a rare dual-engine failure, possibly because of fuel contamination or a bird strike, though the latter is less likely, as the Boeing 787 is designed to fly on one engine. Improper flap settings, the failure to retract landing gear, all of that is under scrutiny. What we do know is that CCTV footage clearly shows the plane struggling to gain altitude. Some speculate sabotage, citing political tensions, but no evidence confirms this so far. Black box data is expected to provide clarity. That's being downloaded, it has been downloaded, but when will a preliminary report come out? And finally, in a dramatic escalation, Iran's Grand Ayatollah Nasser Makarem Shirazi has issued a fatwa declaring Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu enemies of God, accusing them of threatening Iran's leadership after US and Israeli airstrikes on Iranian facilities. The decree, echoed by the Ayatollah Nouri Hamdani, urges Muslims worldwide to oppose them, sparking fears of inciting violence. Trump, on his social media platform Truth Social, has dismissed Iran's claims of repulsing the attacks, warning of severe consequences. So we're going to be looking at where exactly the situation is with regard to Netanyahu and Trump and Iran, which once again appears to be increasingly belligerent. The headlines at this hour: NDTV tracks all angles of Shefali's death 2 days later. Suspense intensifies. Was it anti-aging pills or pressure? A furious political face-off over the Bengal horror. The Trinamool Congress's defense versus the BJP's drama. The BJP says that women's safety is not the Mamata government's priority. The Trinamool Congress hits out at the BJP's political tourism. Karnataka's Game of Thrones, a change of guard is imminent in Karnataka. That is the question. That's what many are asking. Amidst rumours, the Chief Minister and DK Shiv Kumar, put up a united front. Who will take the final call? But first now on to a world exclusive. For the first time, we've got pictures of Sindoor strikes on two major terror centers in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We'll show you those images in a while. But the areas in red, the Syedna Bilal camp is in Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. That is an extremely densely populated area. It's the so-called capital of the so-called Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And Gulpur, Kotli, which is over here, that's about 40 kilometers west of Rajouri. All of these are terrorist camps that you see on your screen, but it's the places in red that are the two areas that we are talking about. Syedna Bilal in Muzaffarabad and Gulpur. So let's move to Syedna Bilal in Muzaffarabad first. Bring out the first image, and what you will see are before and after images. So the image